Hello and welcome to this lecture on an overview of fitness. This is the introductory material for our material on nutrition, physical activity, and the body's responses. So basically a look at sports nutrition. First, before we start, let's go ahead and define fitness. Fitness refers to the characteristics that enable the body to perform physical activity. More broadly, it's your body's ability to meet routine physical demands while retaining enough reserve energy to rise to a physical challenge, or the body's ability to withstand stress of all kinds. We're interested in learning about the link between nutrition and performance because we know that poor nutrition can hinder athletic performance, whereas good nutrition can enhance athletic performance. For example, poor nutrition can lead to things such as cramping, undesired weight gain, undesired weight loss, and early fatigue. Good nutrition can help an individual achieve their ideal weight, which can maximize speed, promote improved endurance, increased strength, and reduce fatigue. There are many health benefits to being regularly physically fit. Now, when you're younger, you might think of physical fitness as a way to achieve a healthy body weight. And that certainly is true, that regular physical activity can help you reach and maintain a healthy body weight. But did you know that it also has many benefits beyond just that of weight? Regular physical activity helps promote cardiovascular health, and it does that by lowering your overall cardiovascular disease risk. Regular exercise can help you lower your total triglycerides, your total cholesterol. It can actually help even raise your HDL or your good cholesterol. But it also, throughout those three mechanisms, helps to lower your risk of heart attack and stroke. Regular physical fitness is important for people who have diabetes because it helps to promote insulin sensitivity, basically making the insulin that your body creates work better. Fitness can help promote bone and joint health. It leads to the reduction in the risk of certain types of cancer. It plays a role in your psychological health by helping you to improve your mood and lower rates of depression. It's also linked to better bone density, which is tied back to your bone and your joint health. So what are the components of fitness? Okay, when we speak about fitness, we're talking about a number of different aspects, not just the ability to, for example, stay on the treadmill for a long period of time. First and foremost comes your increase in flexibility. That's your capacity of joints to move through a full range of motion. You can bend and recover without any injury. Your muscle strength speaks to the ability of your muscles to overcome physical resistance. Muscle characteristic develops with increasing workload rather than repetition, and it's associated with your muscle size. Muscle endurance is your body's ability, and your muscle's ability rather, to contract repeatedly within a given amount of time without becoming exhausted. This muscle characteristic develops with increasing repetition rather than increasing workload, and this is associated with your cardiorespiratory endurance. Cardiorespiratory endurance is the ability of your heart, your lungs, and your metabolism to sustain large muscle exercise of moderate to high intensity for prolonged periods. Muscle power is the efficiency of a muscle contraction measured by force and time, whereas agility talks to your nimbleness, the ability to quickly change directions. You also will experience increased resistance to muscle fatigue, and muscle fatigue is diminished force and power of muscle contractions despite consistent or increasing conscious effort to perform a physical activity. Muscle fatigue may result from depleted glucose or oxygen supplies, or maybe other causes. There's a couple of other ways to study physical fitness, and we also should look at what's called the overload principle. Overload is an extra physical demand placed on your body, an increase in the frequency, duration, or intensity of an activity. A principle of training is that for a body system to improve, it has to be worked at frequencies, durations, or intensities that increase by increments. So when you're working on increasing your physical fitness, know that you can manipulate factors that change either the frequency of your exercise, so that's how many days per week, for example, you work out, the duration, which is how long per workout you're engaged in physical fitness, or the intensity, where you work out the same amount of time and the same number of days per week, but yet that you're driving up that intensity. Resistance training has been shown to build muscle bulk, strength, and endurance, whereas progressive weight training also plays a role in helping overall fitness because it can help reduce chronic disease risk and reduce your risk of injury. When we talk about your muscles, we talk about them being in either a state of hypertrophy or atrophy. Regular physical fitness promotes hypertrophy, an increase in size in response to use. If you don't use your muscles, as we say, if you don't use them, you lose them, and your muscles can then atrophy. Atrophy is a decrease in size, for example, of a muscle because of disuse. How much physical fitness should we be engaged in on a regular basis? Now, there's a number of different recommendations, and the recommendations that you're seeing here are from the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans. Meeting these guidelines requires physical activity beyond just usual light or sedentary activities required for daily living. So this is purposeful exercise that you should be engaged in. Every day, you should choose an active lifestyle and engage in flexibility activities. 5 or more days a week, individuals should be conscious about being engaged in moderate or vigorous activities, and aerobic activities at that. You can think about it by doing a minimum of 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity, like brisk walking or ballroom dancing. If you break that down into 5 days a week, that's roughly 30 minutes per day. So one thing you can think of is that you should be engaged in physical activity 5 days a week, kind of like your job. If you work Monday to Friday, you got to work out Monday to Friday and do so at least 30 minutes per day. 2 or more days per week, you should engage in strength activities, and then you should limit your sedentary activities so that you do them only on a very seldom basis.